Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Women in Sports Unplugged. Our guest today is Mr. Vishal Yadav. Vishal is a cricket entrepreneur, the founder and CEO of Female Cricket. Female Cricket is a platform that aims to promote and nurture women's cricket around the world. Vishal, a die-hard cricket fan, realized the gap between the coverage of men's and women's cricket, and thus the idea of female cricket was born in 2016. In the early days of building this online platform, he had to juggle between his passion project and corporate jobs. He has self funded this project till date, and his academy, Female Cricket Academy, has trained over 250 plus girls in the last 3 years. Vishal has a vision to give back to cricket by nurturing more female talents around the country and giving wings to their cricketing dreams by setting up more centers and platforms for female cricketers. Hi, Vishal. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. I know you've been on this side multiple times, so it's good to have the spotlight on you today.
Yes, finally I'm being interviewed. That was always my dream.
No, you've done a lot, so it's good that you're going to be interviewed today. And thank you again. I'm going to start by asking you, what does sport mean to you?
Uh, Again, it's a great question, and sport is, again, it's more like a way of life to me. The reason I say that is because I have seen sport very closely. And again, to further going deep into sports, again, cricket is my genre, is something that I have always I grew up watching, and I have played a lot of cricket myself, and that is an area where I'm currently working, which is female cricket. So I have seen and I've read a lot of stories how sports has impacted and changed lives for so many. I have seen how sport is currently being used as a tool to create a lot of awareness around societal and economic challenges that the society is currently. I have seen sport being a tool to sort of propagate a lot of conversations. So again, it's not just an event for me. It's more like a way of living. And again, using that method, using that mantra is what I'm again inculcating in my female cricket and trying my best to leverage the medium and put out positive messages across the society.
Yes, sports is a way of life. I think you put that very eloquently. And, once it becomes a part of your life, there's so much that you can give back to the world by being in the world of,
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely.
yes.
Ab- It's a
So,
great, it's a great leveler also, right? So it doesn't see who you are, uh,
absolutely.
whether you're rich, you're poor, you come from an inferior society. It doesn't see your caste, your religion, anything. It is what you perform on the field is what actually justifies who you are. So it's a
Yes,
great leveler, I would say.
yes. Absolutely. Everyone is at par on the sports field. It's how good you play the game, right?
Precisely.
Um, but tell me what inspired you to look at female cricket? I know you were very passionate about cricket, but you were in the corporate world. So,
Right.
how did you get initiated into this and why female cricket?
Yeah, interesting question. There's a long story to this, but I'll cut it short and try to be very precise. Uh, so after I was done with my graduation, I was actually looking at two things. One is that wanted to get into a corporate thing, a corporate setup, and side by side I wanted to stay connected with sport and cricket to be very precise. I was doing a lot of reading and I was doing a lot of research on the internet. Now this is a story back in 2014-15, and luckily I found out that there are 105 countries around the world which play cricket. Okay. And I had no clue about this. I had no idea about this. All I knew and all I grew up watching and listening was that there's India, Pakistan, Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand. Now these are the top Asian or these are top cricket playing countries in the world. And I had no clue if there's a national team in Norway or in Estonia, or for that matter, even in Brazil and Argentina, which is like a football and soccer free country. But then again, they have got a national cricketing setup. I had no idea about this, but when I read this on the ICC's website and I got to know that there are 105 countries, uh, I my first thought was that I want to know who are the players playing in these countries. That was the curiosity which sort of sprung up after reading it on the internet, and I wanted to know who are the players and what are the challenges that they are facing. What is making them sort of play cricket? What is the national setup like? Because having grown up in Mumbai, I know for a fact that the cricket here is super competitive. There are around 2 to 3 lakh people in Mumbai alone who play cricket on a regular basis and are eyeing for that, for the spot to get into the Mumbai cricket team. Uh, and I know it is super challenging here. It is very daunting to get into a professional circuit in Mumbai. So I became very curious as to know who are the players in UAE, who are the players in Kuwait or Qatar, and I started reading about them, started doing a lot of Wikipedia, Twitter, Facebook research, and I happened to interact with 95 cricketers from 95 different countries. Now this happened in just a year, okay, and the, the questions were very normal, very simple to them. What are you doing there? So most of them used to tell me that they went there to basically kind of do their job. They were sort of offshores. So there are when you're in a corporate setup, you get to fly and you get to work from these countries. And when they went there, they did not see any friends. They did not see cricket around. And born and brought up in a country like India, where cricket is a religion, and they did not see anything there, so they took that onus and they started playing cricket and started gathering friends and started having those weekend cricket matches, and the stories were fascinating. And I happened to interview and interact with a lot of female players in these countries, and I got to know that now female cricket is far more popular in these countries than men's cricket. Now countries like Argentina and Brazil, the South American countries, now their football is super popular. So the men cricketers usually play and devote all their time to football. Now females have the options to choose between football, volleyball, cricket, and I happened to interact with a lot of these cricketers, and the stories that they told me, I was, you know, super stunned, and of course super inspired by their stories, because for them, for females, cricket is not just the only sport that they play, because there are so many other responsibilities that they have on their. Uh, they have to manage their house chores. They have a 9 to 5 corporate thing to handle, and still they were making time to to continue their love for cricket. And that got me thinking, if cricket is so popular amongst the female communities in these countries, what about the top cricket playing countries like India, Australia, and New Zealand? Now my knowledge was again very limited to men's cricket back in 14-15. That made me more curious, and I wanted to know who are the cricketers, who are the female cricketers in these countries, in India, in Australia, and New Zealand. I started my research, and the more I got into the details, more I went into the specifics. Uh, it was very difficult for me to come out of it, because the stories were amazing. The stories were fabulous. Despite all the challenges, despite all the societal problems that the female cricketers have to go on a daily basis, uh, they are always told that you cannot go out. You have to stay home. You have to take the normal route, which is like complete your studies, take up a job, get married, and make a family. So, and then there are these female cricketers who were sort of leading away and doing what the society always tells them not to do, and sort of are creating and are becoming a role model. So these stories were super fascinating, and I thought, let me do something about this. 2015 was the time when there was a men's World Cup, and after that, I decided, okay, now it is time that we shift the focus to women's cricket. And I thought maybe I should do something about it, because one is that I had identified the challenge, and now I had a vision to bridge that gap between the men and women cricketers. So female cricket was born. That was the idea. That is how it all started.
So it's amazing, when you said 105 countries, who would have thought that Brazil, Argentina, Estonia, you said, right? We've all
Precisely.
grown up thinking of the same countries, right? England,
Absolutely.
Australia, New Zealand, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, etc. But
True. True.
and the other point that you said, that you, when you interviewed these cricketers from all these countries, you interviewed them from 95 countries. So
Hmm.
many similar issues they would have talked about, right? In terms of
Absolutely.
what challenges women experience. It seems to be
Right.
the same uh, across the world.
Correct.
But I will come back to ask you because you said that you discovered what the challenges are. So, in your view, what the challenges are. But before that,
Hmm.
while you've been doing this journey, you've
Yeah.
also interviewed some of the legends. I know in our program we interviewed Anju Jain, who also you've
Right.
interviewed.
Right.
So
Right.
there must have been so many learnings that you got from them, and you must have adapted some of these in your venture. So
Right.
maybe you could tell us about that, and then I would like to come back to asking you about what specifically you thought were some of the challenges which were same across all the women cricketers.
Right, right, right. So again, I have had the privilege of interviewing and interacting with a lot of these legends. Anju Jain is one of them, like you rightly mentioned. She started as a cricket player, has been a coach now. I've also had the opportunity to interview Mithali Raj, Julian Goswami, the legends of Indian women's cricket now. Again, so every story is different, and every story is special. There's always something to learn from each of these stories. From a story like Mithali Raj, again, a stubborn kid who was forced to cricket. She did not take up cricket initially, so she was forced into it, and then some incident happened early in her life that made her realize that I should focus on one thing and rather give up my Bharatnatyam, which was again her first passion, her first calling. So again, she had to sacrifice that to take up cricket, and now she's a legend. She has been an inspiration to so many young girls today in the country. Yeah, so Jhulan Goswami has a very different story. She comes from Kolkata, again a football freak country. Back in 90s, football was one of the major sports played in the city. So she grew up watching a lot of football. She told me about her early fascination towards Messi, and that entire family came together to watch a football World Cup match in 1990.
Yes.
And then things began, and then she took the inclination was always towards the sport. And then one funny incident where she was a ball girl at the 1997 World Cup at Eden Gardens, and that's how she got inclined towards cricket in particular. And she went to her cricket coach. She had to travel 5 hours daily in a local train to sort of reach to the cricket ground. So again, she has seen all the struggles, and today she's one of the legends of the Indian sport. So again, I've interviewed close to 80 odd cricketers now, and every story is different. Every story tells me something or the other new. And again, that's what keeps me super interested and excited. Uh, and I continue to keep speaking to these female cricketers.
That's good because there's so much to learn from all these stories, and then you can adapt so many of these learnings in your
Correct.
venture. But tell, yes, but tell me, the world of women's cricket has come such a long way, and
Right.
this is changed. This landscape has changed so much since, say, from when Anju played and Mithali playing. Um,
Correct.
so tell me, how does your organization
Hmm.
help promote this particular sport?
All right. So, like I said, when we started in 2016, Feb 2016, the idea was very simple: to bridge the gap between men and women's cricket, to build a platform that would only talk about women's cricket, that would only promote women's cricket. Back in 2015-16, the matches were happening, but then there was no single platform covering it entirely. There was no single platform that would, have 24 into 7 coverage of what is happening around women's cricket. So that was the simple idea. Now I came from an IT background, so I knew how to build a social media platform, how to work around it, how to make a website. So I thought, let me use my current knowledge, and of course the passion was always to serve cricket. So the dots were connected, and the platform Female Cricket was born. So that is how it all started. Now, how is my my organization currently serving women's cricket again in a lot of ways. One is that the primary challenge and the primary focus, what we identified was that is the awareness, is the lack of awareness around women's cricket. So it's not that the matches were not happening. It's not that the Indian team wasn't performing at the international level, but then people weren't covering it. The media, the newspapers weren't doing justice to the coverage. The top websites, the top cricket websites, were still focusing mostly on the men's cricket, and
Yes.
the ratio used to be what, 10 is to 1. So out of 10 news, one would cover women's cricket, and the 9 would primarily focus on the men's cricket. uh, so the idea was very simple to first sort of create that buzz around women's cricket. We built a Facebook. Our accounts were on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we had a website dedicated solely to the coverage of women's cricket. We started writing articles. We started covering news. We started doing a lot of interviews with these female players, so as to put out their stories, so as to put out their the hardships that they had gone through, the struggles that they have seen. Because what happens is you see what you believe what you see, right? Now I grew up watching Sachin Tendulkar. I grew up watching and reading a lot of his stories. So that is why the inclination was always towards men's cricket. The inclination was to become like Sachin Tendulkar. It was to use a bat which was used by Sachin Tendulkar,
Yeah.
uh, right? But then the media wasn't actually televising the matches. There was no broadcast system for women's cricket in 15-16. So the girls in tier 2, tier 3, or in metro cities for that matter, had no idea of what Mithali Raj looks like, of what Jhulan Goswami is like, what is her favorite shot. So we knew that for a fact that if we want to scale it up, the first target has to be to create that buzz around women's cricket. So that is what the organization, the female cricket, started back in 2017. I think it was a game changer for all of us. It was when the Indian women's team reached the finals of the World Cup.
Yes.
Although we lost by 9 runs against England, but it was one huge tournament for all of
Yes.
us, in a sense that it changed the landscape for women's cricket. Uh, it gave a lot of media recognition. Female cricketers became a household names. We reached the final for the second time. There was a lot of coverage on social media. There was a lot of TV coverage. There was a huge reception when the female cricketers, the Indian cricketers, came back, returned back to India. It was during this time that we also realized that there are not enough platforms where girls could go and practice cricket,
Yes.
because by this time it was 1 year in the project in female cricket, and we had a decent following on social media. So we started receiving a lot of calls from parents and their daughters that we want to enroll our daughters into cricket. Now this was something new. This was the first time that we were receiving calls from parents
Yes.
asking us that, do you know a cricket academy where I can go and enroll my daughter and she can start playing cricket?
Yes.
And this was very new to us. The very next day, so 23rd July was the finals. 24th July 2017, I remember our inbox, our social media was flooded with messages,
Yes.
with parents especially, and the question was very similar: where do I find a cricket academy for my for my girl, for my daughter? And when I was in Mumbai, and I started, calling up a lot of these cricket academies. I had a few contacts, and I found out that there is not a single academy which is, giving training exclusively to female cricketers. Now,
Yes.
in a city like Mumbai, which is like so popular within the cricketing fraternity, I could not find a single academy focusing only on female cricketing talents. And that was again a revelation. And I thought, again, now that's a challenge, and we should try and tackle this. And that sort of led me to start Female Cricket Academy. It's an exclusive platform which trains only female cricketers. In the last 3.5 years, we have trained over 250 girls in Mumbai alone. We have got only one academy at the moment, and but then the idea is to have similar setup across India, across the country. because there's this tremendous talent out there waiting to be explored, and if we want to make that very solid impact, we get a lot of calls and messages from tier 2, tier 3 cities that we want to get into cricket, we want to join a cricket academy, could you please guide us, could you please tell us where can I go? And then we are clueless because we are currently based out of Mumbai. Although the coverage is a pan India, but then when it comes to, let's say, tier 2, tier 3, we have a very little understanding about the geographies. So the best would be to have our own female cricket centers in these locations, and give quality training and nurture these young talents. That's the bigger idea. That's the bigger plan that we are working towards.
Yes, and I'm sure the success in Mumbai will help you do that. But you really beautifully articulated. If I understand, so initially the challenge is to see that there is awareness of the sport, which you managed to create because of social media. Of course, when the Indian team starts playing well and social media is talking so much about it, the role models are created. And then you realize that you have to train kids also. That's a big challenge because I was going to ask you that when you interviewed those 95 cricketers, where are the training grounds? Where are the facilities? Even if I want to learn cricket, where could
Right.
I go when I was young? But it's
Correct.
so important that you first created the awareness of the sport,
Right.
and then the role models came, and then the parents started calling you. It's
Correct.
and
Correct.
we see the same thing happening in India in say a badminton or
Right.
in a boxing because there are role models also. So much awareness of the sport has been created. I'm sure even 20 years ago there were very good badminton players and boxers.
Precisely. Precisely.
Yeah,
Precisely.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yes,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. No, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so Indian team reached the finals in 2005 as well. Okay, not
Yes,
just in 2017, but 2005 was the first time they reached the finals. But
yes,
then the match wasn't televised. There was no sort of social media back then. There was
absolutely.
hardly any coverage in the print media. And I was talking to Mithali ma'am, and she told me that you know that World Cup was again very special for the fact that there were so many newcomers in the team. There were so many young talents in the side, but then this team pulled it off and reached the finals. Uh, Again, there was hardly any coverage, but again, that World Cup and this 2017 World Cup is at par as at the 2005 World Cup. It's just that this time they had social media backing them, they had huge coverage waiting for them, and it all fell in place,
Yes, yes,
like you said.
yes. No, that's why it's so important to create awareness about
True,
sports in general.
true.
And that is the purpose behind this series as well, which I am doing with Sports Village. They are one of India's largest youth sports platform, but we just felt, especially in women and sports,
Yeah,
there's so much more that can be done.
right.
And so we thought that this series would create a little bit more awareness in this space.
Absolutely.
So tell me, Vishal, we spoke about the women cricketers that you've interviewed and you think are legends. But if I ask you today,
Yeah.
who are the three sports women you really admire? It can be across any sports, including cricket, but who would they be?
Again, it's a very difficult question that you're putting me in. I cannot name my three top favorites, but I really admire Mithali Raj for the fact that she has uh, been around for 20 years now, and
Yeah,
she has played a huge role in transforming the way women's cricket is perceived today. She has led the Indian side on so many occasions, and she is the one who had brought several laurels to the country. So, Mithali Raj, of course, there's no second thoughts about that. The second would be Ellie Perry from Australia, another legend in her own right. She's only 30, it's her birthday today.
oh,
Uh, and as reading today, I had the chance of reading and learning more about her journey. She's only 30, and what she has achieved at this age is just incredible. So again, Ellie Perry is another player. The third, I would again say Meg Lanning. Again, she's from Australia, and the reason I say is that because she's the captain of the Australian cricket team. Again, very young, but what she has achieved in just 11 years of her journey is super, unbelievable. That what she has achieved for the Australian cricket. So these are the three talents I think at present I would say are the top favorites. But again, the favorites keeps on changing, right?
yes. And like you said, there's so much to learn from everyone's
True,
journey, and you
true.
continue to learn from them.
And every single day, every single day there's so much, because even it's been what, 5 6 years that I'm purely focusing and reading and learning about women's cricket. But
Yes,
their journey, their history is what, 45 years long.
yes,
So I'm sure that I don't know a lot of things, and I happily accept that, because every single day teaches me and gives me a whole new perspective towards women's cricketers.
yes. I know, and I must tell the viewers that they should follow you on LinkedIn. I've been following you on LinkedIn, and it's very interesting. The updates you keep putting up, and it's all in the world of female cricket. There's so much that even I wasn't aware about, and learning a lot from following you
Thank
there.
you.
So please
Thank you.
keep posting those.
I will for sure.
Yes, yes. Okay, so before we move to the fun section of the talk, which
Yeah,
is the rapid fire round, I have one last question for you.
sure.
That is, what message would you give to young girls out there to take up sports as a profession? And what would you tell their parents and their schools to actually encourage sports as a profession?
See, one message to the girls, to the aspiring cricketers or to aspiring sports person would be, start as early as possible. Start soon. That would be the bottom line. Uh, because now there's like a huge amount of competition now, and it is very difficult to get into the professional circuit, get into the state cricket teams, or get into the national cricket team, because there are so many girls who have now taken inspiration from the 2017 World Cup, the 2018 and 2020 World Cup. And I'm sure there are so many young dreams who are now building up, and maybe in next 3 4 years they would be seen in the national circuit. So one advice, the bottom line would be to start as early as possible. Even if you are 18 or 19, just don't think twice and get into the sport as quickly as possible. It's not that, if you are above 10 you won't be able to make a career in this particular sport, because even if you don't end up being a player, there are so many other professions that you can take up. You could be a physio, you could be a nutritionist, you could be a cricket coach tomorrow.
Yes,
You could be a trainer, you could focus being a scorer or an umpire. So if you love the sport, if you love cricket, there are so many ways that you can be connected with the game today. You could also be a cricket commentator. So there's not just a playing role which is available today. There are so many other verticals that you could explore. But again, the bottom line is, start early as possible, and whatever profession you choose, just give it your 100%. That is what these cricketers have always told me
yes,
in the interviews, that whatever you do, make sure that you're doing it 100%. That was the only reason why Mithali Raj gave up on Bharatnatyam, because she knew for a fact that if I put my interest in two boards, I would not reach anywhere. So she had to sacrifice there, so she could continue cricket, and we know what a gem she is today in the cricketing space today. So one, of course, you got to sacrifice the good for the best and start as early as possible. These would be the two messages.
yes. And give 100% to whatever you take up. I think that
Right, right,
message is so, so, so important.
right,
Um,
right, right.
yes. So are you ready now for the rapid fire round?
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm always ready.
So, so there are five words. I will say a word and you have to tell me what word comes into your mind.
All right,
Okay?
all right.
Okay. So the first word is sport.
Life,
Second word is food.
uh, food, pizza.
I love
This was
pizzas too. My
this was
comfort food.
difficult.
Okay.
Okay.
Third word is family.
Uh, Takes you together.
Yes, that's nice. Yes. Um, Fourth word is passion.
Cricket, any day.
I knew that was coming. And the last one is career.
Entrepreneurship, be it whatever, just make sure that you are working towards your passion and solving the challenges, because there are hell lot of challenges out there. You just got to pick one which serves your purpose, which serves your vision, and try working towards that.
Yes. working towards your passion. And I'm so glad, Vishal, that you followed your passion for cricket and founded female cricket. I'm sure there are a lot of young girls out there who are going to get a lot of value by you just following your passion. Uh, Viewers, listeners, I hope you enjoyed this talk as much as I did. You can find this talk on YouTube channel, hashtag Zip2Fitness, on podcast at Spotify, Apple iTunes, Zip Talks, and on my Instagram page, Zip2Fitness. Thank you so much.